Okay, before I turn in for the night, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about because it's been on my mind. WWE has this pay-per-view coming up, the women's pay-per-view, the Evolution one, which is weird because that was Triple H's group years back, right? It's really, you don't see WWE presents Four Horsemen. WWE presents DX the pay-per-view. Oh, I shouldn't. They'll think of that. They'll take it. Um, but anyways, yeah, it's a strange name for a pay-per-view, but I get it. I guess it's fine. And yet, when you look at this pay-per-view, to me it just looks like they have a pay-per-view coming up. I use that term, and yet they're not really pay-per-views. They're just network exclusives, right? So they have a network exclusive coming up from Saudi Arabia. Women are not allowed to wrestle in it, in that progressive country. They always talk about it, the progressive country of Saudi Arabia. I'm thinking, if they're progressive, why can't the women wrestle? And why is it that if you show footage of women wrestling on a screen over there, you have to apologize to their people for doing that? Anyways, yeah. So I have a cynical view of this. I see this as, yeah, the women get their own pay-per-view because there was such a stink raised last time that women weren't on the card. Then I'm watching Aftermath today on Sportsnet, and I'm trying to remember his real name, and I'm sorry, I remember him as Santino Marella, and, you know, he's a Canadian in real life. Spoiler alert, you know, if I ruined the character, I'm sorry. But he said, I can't imagine a pay-per-view without women. And my first thought was, we just had one. It was in Saudi Arabia. Now they're going to have another one in Saudi Arabia that will not feature women either. And anytime they go over there, women won't be featured. So to me, being a cynic, I look at Evolution, I go, okay, so what they're doing is they're throwing a bone at the women. And also, they want to see if women are going to actually draw. So this is an example of how wrestling works, right? They'll put this pay-per-view together, and then they'll see, does anybody show up? Will fans come out when it's just women? I'd buy a ticket. I think it would be great. But here's my problem. My problem also exists with the card. So I'm just going to go through what we've got on the card. Now we've got the Mae Young finals, and I can't remember who it is, but that's a spoiler anyway, so I don't have to tell you guys. Because the tournament was all wrestled out on a weekend, I believe, and they just haven't revealed the winners yet that are going to face off in the finals. And that'll be fun. But a lot of the Mae Young contestants are already under WWE contract, which seems, I don't know, it's kind of weird because they already have jobs. Reina Gonzalez, I'm telling you, that woman, she has the look, she has the talent, and she is massive. Compared to other women around the WWE, yeah, she can handle her own, and I hope she ends up on the main roster sooner than later. Rhea Ripley's another example of that as well. So, the main event, God's sake, Nikki Bella comes back. She hasn't wrestled a single match on her own. She hasn't wrestled a single match as a singles wrestler since she came back. And because she decided to attack Ronda with her sister, we get Ronda versus Nikki. You know, and I wanna come back to what this pay-per-view is supposed to be about, right? It's the evolution of women's wrestling. The evolution. Why do we need an evolution of women's wrestling? Because of people that were divas, not women's wrestlers. Now, Nikki, I'm sure, is really proud of everything she's done in wrestling, and she should be. She's been a polarizing figure, though, as well. And I remember when Nikki was champ forever, and they gave her a title reign longer than AJ Lee because screw CM Punk. And so they did that. And then when she finally lost it, a lot of us in the internet community were happy. We're like, okay, so now the wrestlers are in, like Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, right? Well, now here's the main event of this big Evolution pay-per-view. It talks about, oh, the women's evolution. And here's Nikki saying, well, we started it. We started it. And I've heard her say that too, like, well, the Evolution started with us. No, it didn't. The Bella Twins? Who had the twin magic crap? No. I remember the Bellas as jobbers. I remember Maurice being champ, and anytime she was against a Bella, I was like, well, all right, she's not losing this one, so I could just change the channel. The match would go on for 2.5 minutes. Maurice would do 3 or 4 moves, and whichever Bella twin she was against would lose. And when a Bella won the title, it was sort of like, okay, well, are they quitting? Or what's this for? So The idea that the Bellas were at the forefront, I don't understand that. I don't see it because I never saw them as main event material. Yes, Nikki is in fantastic shape. She is one of the most beautiful women on planet Earth. I've never thought she was a very good wrestler. Never. And the fact that Nikki is because of the neck injuries she's had, I get really nervous about her in a ring with Ronda Rousey. Now, Ronda's been pretty good at not hurting people, but Nikki is kind of injury prone in the ring. So I'm concerned about the quality of this match and the point. You could have a fantastic match between a heel Sasha Banks and a champion Ronda Rousey, and the crowd would go nuts, and you could have a 15-minute match that would be amazing. And with Nikki, I don't know that you can get a fantastic 15-minute match out of it. I really don't. And the sad thing is that's going to be main event, and yet in a last woman standing match, we're going to have Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. This should be the best match of the night. Charlotte and Becky right now are doing the best work that I've seen women do since, I want to say since Trish versus Victoria, in that it feels real. It feels like these ladies really don't like each other, and they really want to kill each other. And again, the last time I saw that was Trish and Victoria. There was a hate between those two, and I know it wasn't there for real, but man, it was great to watch. And this is why with this pay-per-view, I really wished Victoria was coming back. It hurts me to my core Victoria's not coming back. And she's actually been tweeting and posting on Instagram about it. I've seen Bring Back Victoria as a hashtag and Bring Victoria Back as a hashtag in her posts. She wants to be in this. So does Melina. Melina wants to be in this too. There are a lot of women who wrestled for WWE in the past that are looking at what's going on right now and saying, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to be a part of this. This is the kind of wrestling I wanted to do when we were doing these silly bra and panty matches and pillow fights. I really wanted to go out there and wrestle and show people what I could really do." On that note, I'm glad Kelly hasn't shown up. I'm glad Stacy Keibler hasn't shown up. I'm glad that the women who were there mainly as divas for their looks are not in this event. But the Becky and Charlotte match should be one of the best matches of the year. I really think this is going to be a fantastic match. I think they'll hold nothing back, and I think it's going to steal the show because it'll be on before Ronda Rousey. You know Ronda Rousey's going to main event, and I get why. She's the big draw, but this match is going to be fantastic. Trish and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. This, of course, was supposed to be two matches. It was supposed to be Lita versus Mickie and Alexa versus Trish. This has changed likely because of the fact that Alexa Bliss is injured, so she likely won't work very much in this match. And she's working with three women who should be able to protect her, and yet with Lita and Trish, I remember a lot of botches. I remember a lot of times where Lita would do something, I'm like, I think she just killed herself. I think she would do moonsaults, and sometimes she hit them beautifully, and sometimes they were just horrible. And you'd be like, wow, I think she just knocked herself out. Is she out? Is she done? So this will be an interesting match, and God's sake, give Mickie James one last run with the title. Mickie James is just pure gold. And I mean that. Mickie James is pure gold. She is, and again, since WWE is all about the looks, Mickie James is beautiful. I know she's older. She's over the age of 30. If you're a man, it's okay, but if you're a woman, you might not be championship material. I remember when Asuka was coming up in NXT, and I found out her age was, I think she's 34, and I thought, she's over the age of 30. I'll bet you they won't give her the title. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's the way women's wrestling is booked, right? The young girls are the ones that get pushed a lot of the time. Speaking of the younger, the NXT champion Kairi Sane will be defending against Shayna Baszler. This is going to be a great match too. Kairi Sane is one of the few who can really hang with Shayna, and I hope at some point in this pay-per-view Shayna comes face to face with Ronda Rousey. I think Shayna realistically could stand there and go toe-to-toe with Ronda Rousey and be believable. I do. I believe that could work. That being said, I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know if Shayna will end up on SmackDown. And then the Mae Young finals. Are you concerned about missing or not knowing who the Mae Young finalists are? If you are, this is a spoiler alert. Just get out. You worried? Okay. Io Shirai, Io Shirai, I believe it is, versus Toni Storm. I'd like to see Toni Storm get the push out of this. I'd like to see her win it. That being said, I think Shirai probably is going to work it and win it. I think it's going to be a very good match. And that being said, this is not a very big card. So you have to get the Iconics against Asuka and Naomi on there. I would think they'll work Ember Moon into it somehow. There's rumors of a potentially like an Andre the Giant type battle royal. Nia Jax not being on the card is concerning. There's a lot of women, a lot, and if anything, the Mae Young Classic has shown there are a lot of really solid wrestlers in that company. I'm trying to remember now. The Brazilian, the young Brazilian woman that was in the women's the Mae Young tournament. I really liked her too. I thought she was really good. And yeah, her name escapes me because there's a lot to remember. I want to say Toscano's her first name, but anyways, she was good, and I thought she played the heel role really, really well. And that's really the key. How well do you get your characters down? And some of these women do very, very well at that. The funny thing was, Madison Rayne from TNA came in as Ashley Rayne, and I didn't even think twice about it. I remember reading the results. I'm like, wait, Madison Rayne was in this tournament. I don't remember seeing that match. So I watched it again, and I was like, oh, that's her. So it's kind of weird because, you know, I used to watch and TNA kind of had the same thing, and it's Impact now, Impact Wrestling. But they had the same issue that sometimes WWE has now, where you just kind of want to watch the women's matches, and the rest of it's just kind of crap. So people would talk about, well, the Knockouts division is really good, but it was just the Knockouts division just looked better. Look what it's up against. So, you know, there's that. But hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. How are you looking forward to? Are you going to watch it? Do you care? What matches are you looking for? Which ones are you really not looking forward to? Who do you think can steal the show? That kind of thing. And which matches have they not announced yet? And obviously there's going to be other matches that you think could be really fantastic. And which ones do you wish they would have? Which wrestlers from the past would you pluck out? Like, for me, it's obviously Victoria. You'd bring Victoria in, maybe bring in Gail Kim, and have them go one-on-one against each other. They could have a fantastic 5-star match. Not that anybody'd notice, but, you know, have her against Asuka. Have her against Naomi or Ember Moon, or I don't know, anybody. I don't understand it. I really, really don't understand it at all. But we'll see what they do, and yeah. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I said, hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Channel just passed 4,200 subscribers, which is nice. Of course, I'm at 63,300 and something on the other channel right now, so that has been my primary focus, and I apologize to fans of this channel that has been my primary focus, and I'll try to make sure I'm giving you guys content on here as well. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.